that's unrelated. The Iowa Veterans Trust Fund is a separate grant that is used for emergency housing repair, emergency medical, emergency dental, things that veterans wouldn't be eligible for in the VA because of their priority group. So based on their wartime status, their honorable discharge, their financials, and then determination if the commissioners deem that it could be upwards of $3,000 plus per year to a needy family. And I have a case right now. Both heads of household are unemployed, one because of medical conditions, and the one vehicle in the house goes down because of a starter. And that's something we don't pay for, but the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund does. And so
it doesn't go through your office.
It does go through the office, but I only process the paperwork and make the recommendation and endorse it to Camp Dodge.
Come through the county then.
No, correct. It doesn't affect, but it does give us a savings when we can outreach to other organizations like North Iowa Community Action.
Go ahead.
When we can use things like North Iowa Community Action, Iowa Veterans Trust Fund, VAVA, whatever, then I'll use that money instead of using county money. So it saves us.
How did you do last year on let's see, the actuals last year from the general?
I believe we returned approximately $20,000 to the county.
The actuals were 18.1. Yeah. It was a total of 22.9 out of the
49.
40 some, yeah. I don't know what the actual budget was for 17. Okay.
But everything is requested just in case based on historical.
Right.
And most of that is winter.
You see the board expense, Veterans Affairs, you didn't have anything in there, then there's $1,800 this year. And then Veterans Grave Markers, you have anything in there that they haven't $1,400 yet.
I usually buy those at the end of the year, and it's based on VFW and American Legion making requests. And so I usually purchase about $2,500 just before the end of the fiscal year. This year we're caught up.
The last, in the Grave Markers one, there hasn't been anything for back to 16, and then there was 150 in the actuals for 2018. And now that each one's 1,800 and 1,300. That just something that happens every few years, or?
It's based on requests from the service organizations, and I buy them at the end of the year only if we need them. And I try to anticipate what is going to be requested. Loss, new graves, we average about 10 veterans lost per year. But then there's also missing and lost grave markers. We don't have a problem like, say, counties like Saragordo or Rochester. They have a lot of theft due to
value of the bronze.
Yeah, the bronze.
What was that, right? Jeez, people have no scruples.
But we don't have that problem here. Ours are either so old, like World War II or World War I. We even have Civil War.
Is that right? Well.
So on the board expenses, the 1,800, why was that an increase?
Where are you looking?
Oh, it says board expenses, Veterans Affairs.
Third line down.
1,200 is the line.
First page, second page?
First page.
First page.
Third one down. It's 0, and then the actuals 18 150, and then 0 approved. This one right here.
He's got a different type of sheet.
Oh, yeah.
It might be that Chris changed
What the
the
description
line
is.
item on it,
Okay.
because I think it was coming out of like mileage or something else. And so the board should actually be paid out of,
Veterans Affairs grave markers have been zero all the way across, and there's 1,300. And maybe they were taking it out of somewhere else, you think?
the board expense, yeah.
Yeah.
So where's the?
How about the grave markers one?
Oh, I see. And mileage did go down by 1,800, so.
Yeah, yes.
The state wanted us to break things down for how we use our $10,000.
Yeah.
And they wanted to be able to account for it by going through, because they've got 99 counties to review the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the overall budget went up a little bit.
Oh, nothing changed.
Yeah.
Line items got added. It just got broken down from the
It did
10,000.
go up though, Thomas.
It went up 1,200.
If you were, there, you're,
Not quite 12,000. Yeah, close.
1,300.
It's,
Well, 13. Well, on that.
oh, yeah, no, I'm looking at the total on the next page.
So what went down? That was the same. No, it went up 1,300.
I don't know where that got moved from. The board expense, the 150.
Well, yeah, we figured it out. It came from the EMP mileage and subsistence. That went down 1,800 and the other one went up 1,800. It just got transferred.
Okay.
So the only increase I see, the only change I see is the veterans grave markers, is the 1,300.
1,300 is the difference, yeah.
That's the
Okay.
only difference I see.
And I mean, and I'm not gonna question veterans grave markers, but,
Those things are $44 a piece.
yeah, I'm just curious why there hasn't been any across I mean, it surprises me that there hasn't been a cost all the way across.
Last time I ordered them was in 2016, and I still have 2 boxes
Okay,
full of
so,
them.
yeah, see, it's something that just happens every 2 years, that was. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
So more or less-
And I just give it back. I give the money back.
yeah.
Are your expenses evenly, in the past, evenly been distributed out through the year? Are they front-loaded, back-loaded as far as the fiscal year? Is there more the first 6 months?
No, the only thing that happens odd throughout the year is utilities during the winter. And that's about it. And the only big jump would be the end of the year, which would be for renewal of licenses, membership to our accreditation organizations for the commissioners and myself, and license renewal for the software. I am going to propose this year that we discontinue the license for the VetraSpec software, just because it's not used as much as, say, like a big county like Saragordo, and that'll save us an additional $600 a year. Because I'm doing things the old-fashioned way, and there's no reason to try to save time with the software and the database, because everything is kept and archived, and I don't need it. So I'm going to recommend that on our next commission meeting on January 10th.
So we figured something out here. I looked at my book from last year. Chris might have changed numbers. There are grave markers and stuff that have been spent on over the years, but
Okay.
it was under a different account number. And that number's not on this sheet.
Oh, all right, so they
So it's just,
made a new account
we're
for it,
trying to get all the line
get
numbers
stuff cleaned up.
so they match up with the chart of accounts from the state. And so this year is gonna be a little goofy in some of the numbers just because we wanna get things cleaned up.
so it's not something out of the usual. It's,
Well, I was guessing it was just something that happened every few years.
it was budgeted 1,300 last year.
What is budgeted this year?
1,800.
Oh, you're talking the board expense venture affairs.
Oh, no, it is 1,300. You're right, you're right.
Yeah. So it's the same.
Well, it's still.
Excuse me.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, that drop,
Because we didn't ask for an increase in anything.
Let's see what the total number last year was. Total request last year was 54,095. Which is the same as this year, so. Was it lower approved last year than requested? Because I showed a request last year of 50,095.
Well, if the line items aren't in this budget,
It shows it lower, okay,
Yep.
all right. Yeah, that does screw it up, doesn't it?
yeah, it does a little bit.
All right. Sort of making sense now.
I was getting worried.
well, it wasn't a huge discrepancy.
It's just, yeah, it's the computer.
Yeah,
I'll just write it in.
50,095.
It was the same as this year, yeah. All right, well, I don't have any more questions.
Yeah, no, it's, you're usually in under budget, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Good day.
Okay.
Matt Dubay said we'd have to call in. He's out of town.
Okay. Should we wait till 9:30 and work on other stuff?
Sure.
What do we got on tomorrow's stuff we were gonna go through? We got the miscellaneous category still working on.
54. It's a new one.
Yeah. Get to the good old miscellaneous.
Autopsies going up, what do you have?
We combined, we had 2 line items there, and we combined them.
Autopsies that we have to pay for, there are people that have no money or whatever, is that it?
Nope, there's all sorts of,
Anybody that has an autopsy, the county pays for it?
That's roughly 30 autopsies. Wow.
Do we have that many suspicious deaths in this?
What's our rate on autopsy?
Roughly 12 to 15, if that.
Well, I mean, we only had 2,600 actual so far this year, but there's been, how much does each autopsy cost?
Is it 13?
Anywhere from 1,000 to 15.
Depending on the depth of it, I suppose.
So the actuals for 16 and 17 would be about a little over 3, I guess, on average. 4, I guess.
So does that,
it's not all, there's also medical examiner fees in there, so anytime
Yeah.
medical examiner has to go out, we have to pay that.
Oh, when they go out and meet the ambulance and pronounce the person dead. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, last year we had 22 in the autopsy and 11 in the medical examiner.
Well, has there been years where it's needed, the department request is 36? That's quite,
It goes up and down
I
a
mean, it
lot.
can really fluctuate.
Yep.
In 2015, the actual between the two was 24 something, and next year was 24 something.
It depends on, like suicides and if there's young people that pass away and, there's all kinds of different things.
Must have been a pretty high demand in the medical examiner fees this year, because it's not shown here, but in this transition. In a half a year last year, we had $16,493 in autopsies and $1,300 in medical examiner fees. Just half the fees.
Animal bounties, wouldn't that include beaver tail?
No, it's,
That's drainage districts that get charged for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, yeah.
So the animal shelter, where does that money go to?
the North Iowa Humane Society.
Okay.
They send us a letter every year saying how many animals they take in from Winnebago County and then
So it's
request.
on actual.
Yeah. And then we budget for it, but a lot of times she doesn't send us a request letter, and if we don't get a request letter, we don't pay her. So
Lots of times it doesn't get sent.
if she doesn't send us a request letter, we're not gonna pay it. So that's her job to do that. Everybody else sends request
In
letters. So.
2015, we spent $440. In 2016, we spent $480. 2017.
She didn't send her a letter, so I didn't send her any money.
I was saying 0 for 17 and 0 so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike, yesterday we had discussion on the tipping fees, that we don't get them anymore, because that contract expired. So we were looking at some of these, the nutrition education and the historical society, and we were hashing it out whether if we're just gonna drop both of those, since we don't have those tipping fees to have our cushion anymore. And
Well, I know excuse me, I know we've discussed this almost every year, but are we gonna look at the $70,000 we pay the ambulance every year?
but they cover the whole county.
Well, they do, but it's a 15-minute lag time, usually.
And that 70,000 goes to,
The paramedic service.
Paramedic service here in Moore City.
It's separate from the ambulance service.
yeah.
It concerns quite a few. I can't remember the last time I've talked with anybody in my district, but it has been a concern, of people in my district that we pay out that kind of money countywide and don't necessarily get a paramedic. Well, we get paramedic, but time-wise.
There was discussion a long time ago about centralizing a paramedic service.
That's why we were supposed to build a public safety center in Thompson, right?
Or up at the corner where the tower is.
Yeah.
As Andy puts it, that's the center of the county. Well, it's not, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything on that.
Oh, yesterday? Oh, I missed
Maybe
it.
you weren't in here.
Yeah, I missed it, I guess. I think I stepped out to take a phone call when you guys were talking. I remember you talking about the tower. But
It's the center between Forest City and Lake Mills, but
well, the 70,000 goes to benefit right here more because there's more people, but then I guess,
they also get money from here too.
yeah,
That's just what we're giving them, it's just part of their budget.
yeah, no, that's sure of that.
Vern, does your group of coffee buddies ever talk about that?
I don't drink coffee.
All right, your beer buddies.
No. I don't drink beer either.
Just a sarsaparilla man, huh?
I'll have a whiskey now and then.
But, you know, we had taken the Home Base Iowa out of the budget because it's a program that never took off. We never approved anything. The state's kind of not done anything with it, so.
The what?
The Home Base Iowa, it's something our county never passed, other counties did, but they did it before the state kind of backed off on things. And it's like, the state won't give us any guidelines anymore. So we didn't feel like it was worth having that money in there.
You know, the mapping GIS systems at 10,000, weren't we talking about moving that to the,
Not bad.
what was it, we were talking about moving to the assessor's budget?
Yeah, it was out of the data, out of Eric's budget, the one from there. This one is for the flyover. The other one was in his budget with more of the software stuff.
But where I have that 10,000, it'll have to be 14,907. That's what Sue wants us to pay. Unless you tell Sue that we're only gonna pay 10, she'll have to pay the rest of it.
What is the NCRERC again?
Something to do with NIACOG, and if you give me long enough, I can
Well,
think of what it's called.
that's my board meeting at 1:00.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's North Central Emergency Response Coalition or something. I got the paperwork in my car.
It's just like dues, or?
This pays for the guys out of Mason City that do the spill cleanups.
Oh,
So every county has to pay a certain amount of money.
okay.
It's a per capita amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it, the number?
That's one of those,
Chemtech or something like that you have to call, there's an 800 number for that.
that's one of those, I'm gonna voice my opinion at 1:00.
Hi. I've been talking to Hancock County and Worth County, and would Friday morning at 9:00 work for you guys to reschedule?
For
To do the drainage stuff.
drainage
Just
stuff.
wondering if we'll be done plowing by then. That's
Well,
when this storm
should
gets
be.
Does
done.
that screw up your date? No?
Well, it's dated tomorrow, so if it's one day off, that's okay. We would have to totally redo the whole hearing if we had to wait till next Tuesday. So Friday would be great. And that works for Hancock and Worth. So
And we're meeting.
we would just
here?
come here.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, can we do it just like an hour later or something? What if the buses are late and, I don't know.
I don't know, that's what Ann
And
said.
WHW, Sandy can't be here Friday, so.
Well, no, I'm not concerned with that meeting.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, it'd be nice if they're coming here anyway, we could get that one over with too, but,
Oh, gotcha.
but she can't be here, so.
That's up to you guys.
I have lots of things to do, but anything for you, Chris.
What are you laughing at over here?
I'm just thinking about every time we have a storm, it's like things are slow to get going the next morning and is put it off till 11 o'clock.
Is it supposed to snow
Well, it's up
all
to you
day
guys
long?
with your budget stuff.
Last time I heard 2 to 3 inches.
The last time I heard was over 5, 6.
Really?
It keeps moving
Well, yeah,
east.
it all depends on where it goes. They always seem to like to put out the worst case scenario for us to just make sure everybody watches the weather, but,
So what's it's just is it a public hearing?
We have to set the public hearing and approve the pay estimates.
You know
And-
what, they can't do that over the phone. That is so simple, it's.
So, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I don't care, I just need to let everybody know.
I would, well, it depends on what the weather is, I guess.
But it has to be posted, so I need to know.
If you have a 2-hour delay, then
Oh, for the bus?
Yeah.
Then
that'll put you to 11.
usually when they have 2 hours late on Tuesdays, I have to get a sub, so.
It's not gonna take that long, so I would think 11.
Fine. What about Friday though?
You could call in.
Middle of the day is fine.
You
You're
could call in too, so.
Sweet.
When,
I don't know why we can't just keep it and all of us call in.
I'd be okay with that, but they
Did
had a
they not
problem
wanna
with that.
call in, or?
According to Michelle, you have to have 2 people, and we didn't post that it was a teleconference, so
Technicalities. Yeah, no,
Two people or a quorum? Two people from each board?
she said they had to have 2 people and they had to record it, and I said, why do you have to record it? Yeah, we would like to record it, but it doesn't mean you have to, it's not
But
in
if
the
you do a
code.
conference call, you can record that.
Who is? Oh, Hancock's on the phone now.
Eric, if we do a conference call, it can be recorded, right?
Can be, yeah.
This is Chris, can I help you?
Are you doing this like right now today or? Okay.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe.
Because I have another drainage with them.
Well, then know what your plan is.
Yeah, I have a-
Go record it next.
Right, because I have 2 different districts that need a public hearing. So that doesn't involve you. So I'm in the board, they're talking right now. Can I put you on hold? Or put you on speaker? It's upside down, I'm sorry.
Conference.
Or just speakerphone.
There must be a speaker button somewhere. There you go.
There we go.
Hey, Ann? Yeah, okay, so what time, the guys are wondering if we need to meet later on Friday because of the weather.
Yeah, that's fine. What time were you thinking?
11?
Well,
Sure. And then what if we need to call in because of the
I'm
weather?
not sure what it is.
Can I post it that it will be a possible teleconference?
I don't know.
And
I don't know. Yeah?
it's Carla.
Hey.
Why do you need to post that it's a teleconference? If we have it in here, on the phone, why does it need to be posted that way? I have never heard that before. Why can't we just do it when it's supposed to be tomorrow? And just have everybody call in?
And if somebody comes here for the meeting that was posted as, then they just listen to the phone call.
Okay. I got you guys on speakerphone so Michelle can hear. This is the Winnebago board and Carla and Chris. So you guys are wondering like tomorrow, why we couldn't just do it tomorrow?
Yeah,
By conference call.
and just do a conference call.
Everybody on conference call?
Yes.
Yeah, most people.
I always had the impression that, I thought one person always had to be there.
I'll be
And
here.
I don't know about, like, we always record all of our meetings.
Well, I can send you a recording.
I can be here at 8:30 tomorrow. That's not a problem. You need one person there.
As far as that goes, I could be here too, I mean,
It's
it's.
8:30.
But I think it's our board. Yeah, I think it's our board is the ones that, I mean, none of us know what's gonna be happening at 8:30 tomorrow morning. It may be perfectly fine. It might not be a problem, and it might be a problem, I don't know.
If it is a problem, can we just continue it, or continue the meeting then? And just,
Until Friday.
yeah,
I don't know.
Because you don't have to post a continued meeting.
So the ours wouldn't be meeting at all because we don't have anything else scheduled.
Well, neither do we, except for budgets if you
Yeah,
wanna
we
do
just
them.
have budget meetings after that, so,
I find it hard pressed that it doesn't follow just the open meetings law, so.
Just do it at 11 on Friday then.
Yeah, it's 11 on Friday should be fine, I guess.
well, I won't be here. So I don't need to be here.
Part of the drainage, so.
No.
I can be here.
That'll be our only agenda item.
Yeah, because you won't do budgets then. Okay.
Yeah, I have that meeting with CSS.
So is that okay, Hancock?
If we do Friday at 11?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to check with Jerry and Ron. Sis is out of town. I've checked with Jerry and Ron, but I think so.
And if they need to call in, that's fine too, or we can call them.
Okay. I will let you know, Chris.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
You bet.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. So anyway, this NCR, ECR, emergency response people, I've watched their budget, and it seems like they got pretty good carryover going into next year, so I'm requesting today that they back off on their request.
Yeah, they were talking about an increase, weren't they?
Yeah, I think they need to keep that cash balance carried forward a little more even, rather than keep increasing it. Yeah, you can't account for big spills, but we're getting more than a year's worth of balance carryover now.
Are you kidding me? That should be no more than 20%.
This is emergency response, and
But still, I mean, if it's that big, the state's gonna, if it's a huge one, the state's gonna step in.
Even better.
I'll do whatever I can today, but, last month, or the last time we met, I looked at Don McGregor from Cassuth County and I said, because they left it to the executive committee to determine the budget. And of course, that is Andy Buffington and all the other people like him. Well, I think the supervisors need to say so.
I'm surprised that slipped by the auditor.
Well, I'd have to get my facts right. I could probably, should I just go get the paperwork for the day? How they hand those things out, the budgets they hand out, because it's a big machine. But I'll see what I can do to keep that number down.
So, back to this meeting thing, since you guys aren't meeting with WHW tomorrow, do you want to start our budget meetings earlier on Thursday? Or are we that worried about the weather?
Well, the weather would be the concern, I guess. Me, I'm not, I can get here. I've driven through the mountain in a blizzard before, so.
So do we just want to wait till tomorrow morning and see if the buses are late or anything, and then?
If there's gonna be a lot of wind involved or not.
Yeah.
I can be here within 20 minutes, so you wanna just call and tell
Yeah,
us?
I'll call you guys and I'll just wait to hear from you, Bill. And if, whatever your schedule is, if you can be here at 9, we'll all be here at 9. And if you can't, then we'll just wait till. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean, if school's 2 hours late, I won't be able to be here till just about 11. If there's no school, then I can be here as early as you want.
That's one of those things where they postpone school for 2 hours just to see if they need to cancel.
Yeah, I'll sit there wondering, okay, now what are you gonna do?
Well, we'll just wait and see what happens.
If that happens, I mean, I'll just tell Pat Conroy to go run it. Probably won't want to, the weather's crappy. He'll have to put on his big boy pants.
They're showing 5 to 6 inches, 20-mile-an-hour winds tomorrow.
Yeah,
Is what they're showing now. They've
We're
changed.
talking a little bit of rain tonight, freezing overnight.
Yep, they are.
Lays it underneath.
Yeah.
State highways will probably be good, but the county's gonna struggle to keep their blacktops. Which, I'm sure the county, the state's out there right now, putting more brine down.
I just know I would like to get a lot done today and tomorrow because next week I have to take my mom.
Back, aren't we?
Yeah, I have to take my mom to Rochester next week, so I'm gonna be.
I wonder if we just call his office if,
This is forward.
I think so. See, you're better at this than I am.
I don't say much for you.
I gotta sell.
Appreciate this new phone.
He's got the same cell phone number, it's another state. There it is. Okay, let's do it sometime. So 6021 206 4730.
Carl, on page 7.
I was just dialing, I'm sorry.
That's okay, we were busy trying to schedule meetings for tomorrow and the next.
Good,
How you doing?
good, good. Oh, it's about 30 degrees, I'm in central Ohio and it's freezing rain, so,
Wonderful.
I wish I was there.
yeah, so anyway, budget.
So, looks like you've got very few changes. You've got a little bit of increase in telephone, telegraph. Are you still using telegraph?
Yeah, I suppose.
You got education and training was an increase, but
Workman's compensation is most of it.
yeah.
I guess that's kinda out of my hands, but
Yeah,
That's a mistake. That's,
my guess is we're probably gonna have some more, permits come in quite a bit higher this year because of, some potential, commercial stuff that's gonna be coming in that would probably call for some additional permits hopefully in the thousands of dollars, not just the hundreds, so,
Right.
but nobody can ever guarantee that, so.
Yeah. But Carla, you said that workman's comp one was a mistake.
yeah, it should be 65, not,
Oh, 65 on that line?
yeah.
Okay.
well, that eliminates almost the whole increase.
Well, still got 1,000. There's still 1,000.
Well, the total increase is about 800. And 662 off of there, wow.
I don't know how much, what was in education?
300.
Yeah, I'm guessing I probably won't use any of that,
Okay.
at least this year.
You're plenty smart the way it is, right?
Well, just find a time for some of that education when got a wealth of knowledge of guys on the internet with the state of Iowa. If I have any questions, usually I just shoot them an email or
Okay.
between them and Adam Sauer, just questions. So if you guys want to remove that, I would be completely okay with that.
Well, we can do that. So Carla, the telephone one is pretty set then? That's what it's gonna cost?
It depends on if Matt, are you gonna use your cell phone reimbursement or not?
Well, I haven't been putting that in, just because, number one, I didn't know how to do that. I haven't asked how to do that. But number two, seems like a lot of the phone calls then go to the office and get transferred anyway. So, I don't know what was that. I can't remember what the approval was on that, what that would be out of here. 350.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actuals for 17 were 215. That's when the phone number got started, or how was that done before?
Yeah, that's, I can't remember how that all,
The actual office phone started in 17.
I think so. Just towards the end of 16 and then 17.
So we should probably leave something in there just to have that flexibility.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's probably going to be your WCTA, just the transfer.
Yeah.
It's not like I sit and answer the phone there, unless we got rid of that phone number all together and just use my cell phone. But I'd rather just keep that 585 number there just in case.
Well, my suggestion is do it like you're doing now, because to advertise your cell phone everywhere is probably not the best thing.
Yeah. Doesn't take long to find it though. In fact, I think I even have this even on the website, so with the office and my cell phone.
Well, I don't know. I thought it was just the office on there, because I just looked it up last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I forget which one it was on, but I saw it was listed both ways.
Yeah. Google has historical numbers too, so.
Yeah. Well, they like to save stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Ready? I'm early, so you guys still doing your thing?
Yeah, what time is it?
Other than that, there's just a few office supplies, and that was about it, I think.
Trying to get you off my Bluetooth there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You see at the next site. Want to go straight there, or? Okay. Yeah, unless there's any other changes, I can't think of anything.
You guys have any questions?
No.
I think
Don't really use a whole lot of the office supplies or resources, maybe handful of mail and stuff like that, just to kind of get some permits sent back. I've been trying to do a lot of that stuff online, so it eliminates a lot of that stuff. But some folks don't have email addresses in this day and age, which is a little odd, but whatever.
No, I think otherwise you're looking pretty good.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thanks for letting me call in, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, have fun out there.
Oh, I'm having a blast. Can't wait to drive home tonight.
Yeah, I bet.
See you later.
Up there?
Yeah, it's
Your clock's back there.
hiding it around the corner, yeah.
Maybe that's what I'm used to looking at.
If there was any changes to what you gave me yesterday, that's not in here.
No, the only changes I did was a line item, went in and plugged in a number, and I've actually got that here if they want a copy of this.
22, I think.
Yeah, that's 22. I'm gonna give you this for the meeting. This is all of our budget right there, if you wanna look at that. She has some state, yeah, we do. Revenues on the backside of that. Our conservation budget has actually gone down. We're about down to where we were about 4 years ago in the first couple pages there. Our roadside budget's going down. Actually, all of our budgets are pretty well going down. We will transfer some money potentially. We're still moving forward with the nature center plans, and we've got to actually have a workshop scheduled. This is kind of FYI, but next Monday we're meeting with our foundation, our conservation board, with a fundraiser. Kristen Heidemann from Forest City here is our fundraising consultant, and we're going to work out a strategy for working on that. But there's no land acquisition included in our budget. I mean, we have money in that line item, but we don't have any projects planned. In the areas in red, that's those new line item numbers that the auditor's office suggested we switch over to. So that's, special projects budget, that's line items for each of our county, a number of our county wildlife areas, parks, our target range, our trap range. It's money in, money out of those specific budgets. It's self-supporting, or cabin, campaign.
We're struggling with our general basic dollars this year. Again.
Is that nature center gonna be funded separate, totally?
Yeah, that's the way as far as the construction, yeah.
Okay. I would like to see a cost of operations when it's done, that we can hold you to within 10%.
I know our architect has some of that information, and we're going to use geothermal. We're going to use solar, so electricity, and there's some pretty energy efficient, much more efficient systems now than there were a few years ago with solar. There's some buyback programs, but yeah, we can.
And the reason for that is, Robert, is this jail thing, our consultant sold us down the river,
As far as the operation?
As far as the operation cost. They said there would be no significant difference in our operation cost, and it's gonna be close to between $500,000 and $600,000 a year.
And what did they tell you initially?
That he didn't give us a figure, he just said there'll be no significant difference.
That seems significant.
Yeah.
Our footprint is pretty small. I mean, it's 3,800 square feet on the footprint. So, our current building is 1,500 or so, but this thing is going to be much more energy efficient and positioned, where you're taking advantage of solar and that type of thing. So, but we will definitely be working on that.
Because I'm sure you're going to try to utilize programs, to promote them a lot more than what it has been because of the facilities. So
yeah. For example, like the solar systems, we have the software where kids in the classroom can look on their phone or on their laptops and in real time see what kind of energy is being generated or used at our nature center, which is educational tool. And of course, going forward on this, on the Nature Center, is going to be dependent upon grants and donations, and we're putting together pretty good sized lists of potential donors and sources of funding. So, and we have one foundation that has said once we get to about 50%, come and see them, and then they're going to put potential there for pretty significant contribution. Nothing's guaranteed, but we'll see how it goes.
So it doesn't look like you're collecting any hotel, motel.
No, we don't.
Just the sales tax.
Sales tax on the cabin is the only thing we're required to. We file quarterly reports on that one and pay quarterly sales tax based on our income for that quarter, just for the cabin. But we're not required to do the motel, hotel. That was somehow negotiated. I don't know how that worked out, but.
Wow, you're not in the, we don't have.
We're not in the, yeah, we're in the rural area.
Port City does, but you don't.
And that doesn't amount to too much for their sales
Would
tax.
sales tax show up on?
No. Well, it would show up as an expenditure
And an income.
under the cabin there, under 29. But I don't, maybe at the end of the year I would see no, it would be, see, we only do it quarterly. So it'd be an end of the year report. You would see a total.
Okay, so it's just under the revenue from Thorpe Cabins, but then you'll have an expenditure.
Yeah, that 29, I believe, is our special projects. And so in a given quarter, we might pay $100, $125 in sales tax. The cabin brings in around, I want to say around $7,000 a year, a little higher than that, I think. It's been going up, seems to go up every year. Word gets out. We could operate 2 cabins and we wouldn't have any trouble keeping them busy, especially on the weekends. And we do generate a little, and I think I might have mentioned this to you at a meeting. We do have some crop rent, but by the rules we had to. We were putting it all in the general fund in the past until about 2 years ago. The state said that land that was acquired with a certain grant program, we had to put that money back into the area. So we could use it for drainage assessments, which we get hit for every year, and other improvements on that specific wildlife area.
So you have some pieces of property that there's actually still farm ground on it.
Yeah, the Quam Wildlife Area, there's,
some of that's still farmed.
Pardon me?
Some of that is still farmed.
Yeah, there's under 20 acres there. The Landy River Conservation Area, there's 45 acres there. Rossiter, not far from the Florence Recreation Area. Neil Stephenson farms that, about 10 acres.
Okay.
What happens it's happened over the years in some of the smaller ones, we couldn't find anybody to farm them anymore. They were just getting too small.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 acre pieces, but these are in proximity to guys that are willing to do it. Amberson Recreation Area, Gary Severson farms about 13 acres there. I mean, it's almost a year by year thing. I've got almost plead with them to do it, but
you do the end rows with a 48-row track planter and the field's done, right?
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
You have to get Jason Worth to put sweet corn in some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder if of course, some of these are just, most of them are such poor soil that he probably wouldn't want to spend the money. Bernie knows. He lives up just across the road from one of our areas. And we've had the same operator, Don Hangstead farmed it for years, and then his son entered into agreement with us. So it's been the same in the same family. But we advertised it, but it's not too many people interested.
Same thing with the one out on.
Well, yeah, I see you did find.
We did find 2 bidders.
Bryce Aukus did it, didn't he? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, he does. He's got some state ground, I believe, too. He farms. I know he runs cattle on some state land. The special projects line items, that fund has helped over the last, seems like it's been about 5 years now, 6 years, because we can take the revenue from a park or a campground and use it to pay the electric and the other improvements, which are generally minor, but.
There's a lot of changes from this sheets to those sheets, just so you know.
The one I gave you, the one that I gave you has I think I've got all of them in here. I'm
More updated.
Updated, yeah. It will be. How you coming on the health insurance? Any other proposals
Haven't
yet?
heard
or
from
nothing?
Word.
Nothing.
I mean, we've had some people interested that I've sent the RFP out to, but other than that,
You got a deadline set yet? Then? I know I was talking to somebody that works for the DNR, and he said they just got a new plan that they were told, which they had a choice. The plan that they got stopped at the border. They can't go to Mayo unless they go up to another level and pay so many more $100 a month.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, that would really suck if you needed some specialist that they have up there and they don't have in this state.
Yeah.
why is your health insurance going down so much?
Single plan.
Okay.
We have two family, one single.
One area you doubled was the building repairs.
Was that one under, which one? REAP?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, we've been using some of the REAP money to pay for the consultant fees. So it's not necessarily going to come out of there, but we budget what we're going to get potentially about $9,000 to $10,000 in REAP money, new REAP money this next fiscal year. So we budget it. I break it up into the different categories, but building repairs was the most accurate as far as paying for architect fees, as far as line item number. And the REAP expenditures are all based on what we actually receive from the state. We get a per county and a per capita check each year. So, and REAP is annually appropriated, so it's a tug of war with that one every year to know what's it going to be or where it ends up. Statewide, it runs around 10, 11 million. It's supposed to be at 27 million, where that was originally created. So if the IWIL trust was funded, REAP would be fully funded. We would get another $10,000 or $12,000 per year on top of what we receive now.
I'm good, Terry.
What's the operation of the lead?
You're familiar with that tree program that we do with Alliant Energy? We actually, through Alliant and the DNR, if they approve our site, and they do it about every second or third year, we sell potted trees for $25 that normally retail for like $75 to $125.
Yeah.
And we get about $2,000 for hosting it. But we have to run all the money through our fund, we have to pay for the bills, and then we get reimbursed. So that's why it says pending approval from this. And they indicated that next fall we would probably get selected again.
I get the pump now on the relief, because it's leaves on the trees.
There you go.
Yeah, all right. So.
Okay.
I thought you were affected by when he said they sell pots.
Yeah. Well, that's getting illegal everywhere too now, so. And, that's what you do, all those little patches. So,
You've got it in your road ditches, I mean, it's all over. You might have to use a truckload of it to get high, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'd have to ship it to California or wherever. Now.
One time I was driving down the road north of town here and by Ed Fox's, if you know where Ed, I don't know if you know where Ed lives, but all of a sudden I look in my mirror, and I had slowed down to look at some property that we had acquired, I think. He's running down the road behind me and on the gravel road, and he's raising his arms and yelling, and I stopped, and I'm like, Ed, what's going on? And he goes, what are you doing with that helicopter out here? The guard comes up, and they do their annual PR thing where they hover over pot plants, and they were hovering over his property. He somehow thought I had something to do with the helicopter flying over his property, but they were out checking for marijuana. Our guys have been out mowing areas, and guys are leaning out the door of the helicopter looking down to see what they're working on.
How did they identify it?
I think probably from aerial photography, maybe it's, like a crop has a certain color to it. I don't know. I think the people that do it for a living are doing it in isolated places that are, harder to find.
Unless there's some kind of a heat imaging, different things come off.
Yeah. I mean, I've never ran into any that we've suspected was cultivated, but I've seen the sheriff's department out cutting stuff out of road ditches before, and then they have it on the news that night that they've collected so many pounds of pot. But, yeah. Like I said, I don't think you're going to make a lot of money on that deal.
So when you compare the two, are we still about the same general basic demand?
I don't know, I gotta put it in the computer. Oh, you mean like what he's got?
His request from general basic.
According to this.
It will have gone down just a slightly.
Yeah, as I said,
Percent
it went
and a half.
down according to this.
For general basics.
Down $123. Which isn't near enough in general basic.
According to our initial estimate, you were going to be needing $177,000, because he does generate revenue also.
Like I said, I'm down to about 4 years ago, our level, just above that slightly.
Well, 4 years ago, we had more taxable land too, so that's where we're at.
Hey, we're bringing in some revenue on our parks and wildlife areas and trails. I know you've seen some of this stuff before, Tara. I'll leave it with you anyway.
So I keep hearing that hunting numbers are down. Are those numbers accurate, or the hunting numbers?
You say hunting numbers as far as?
Well, I hear on the radio.
Trends, you mean, or?
Yeah.
Well, a year like this, I suppose, would be not maybe quite as many pheasant hunters out. I haven't heard any numbers yet as far as, the numbers of birds shot are going to be down, and pheasants and deer are two of the big money makers as far as selling licenses for the DNR.
Well, they can check. Is the sale of licenses up or down, or?
I haven't heard any numbers yet this year. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure. I know the DNR is looking for a hunting license fee increase because they haven't had one for quite a few years. And the thing about that one is, it's kind of like I will, the users are willing to pay it. So it's just basically a political deal now. But
They may have to do with that, like they did with the snowmobile program.
how's that?
Contract out the administration.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of vacancies from what I've been told, like in the DNR, especially administrative types that have been not replaced. So some of that's probably already happening. But if they would raise the sales tax, the 1 cent sales tax, 3/8 of a cent goes to fund the IWIL, the Conservation Trust, which is $189 million spread out. IDALS gets it, the DNR gets it. Conservation will get some because of REAP will get fully funded, so we'll see a little bit. And that's all in the name of water quality. And the governor said yesterday that's their #1 priority, so we'll see. They're trying to get it from other sources, but that's the one right there, the IWIL, is that the public voted on unanimously and wanted to be funded. So, and then they probably would solve their education funding shortfall as well. There'd be another $360 million available.
A lot of variables involved with that negotiation. Everybody's got a different idea how to do it.
Yeah. But that's the one the public wants to see. But at least as far as that program goes.
Is your board approved your budget yet?
They did on Monday. That's the second time they looked at it.
I think you send an email on that. You should. Board.
Well, it might have been the agenda, maybe.
Yeah, just
No, I got one after the agenda.
the minutes out.
Minutes? I sent you minutes.
Yeah.
And then I did send
That
out,
would have been the first time they saw it from those minutes.
yeah, I sent you the December minutes.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, so it's approved December 11th minutes, yeah, that's what it was.
All right. Okay, well, if you got any other questions, give me a
Not much, you can cut more money out of the general basic portion of it.
All righty.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys have a good one.
Yeah.
See you, Ernie.
Yeah. Unless you understood it
We
as you
talked
say,
about
there's
my
not
budget
much.
yesterday, Mike, but if you have any questions for me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Trying to think, the only ones we, with Kevin, his budget's down, and we aren't doing the construction, and he's replacing the chiller this year, so that was off next year's budget.
When's your one with Betco meeting next week?
What's that?
When's your one with Betco meeting? When are you gonna decide what to do with those fees
That's on the
for,
22nd.
Yeah, 27.
of January?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did Teresa let you know about the exec meeting? She just told us yesterday, the 22nd is the next exec meeting. She made it sound like that we should know about it, but I didn't see any emails about it.
22nd, you say?
Yeah, at 11:30.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think she just decided it. Okay. Have you made it through 54 yet?
No,
Yeah, I had a question on 71 there, page 71. We have 2 dues and memberships in NIACOG. Second at the bottom and about 6th from the bottom.
Let me see, I think they're two different things.
The bottom one would be the one we also have with, ISAC.
NIACOG dues, I have $2,250.36.
Okay, that's not good. What's the 12,000?
Then I have,
Above that?
I don't know,
It's been there all along, I watched.
I suppose,
I'll look up the line item, see what we got in there.
it's not transportation, is it?
No, transportation is under local transportation.
It says here. I've got, under that 12,000 line item for NIACOG, I show admin NIACOG. I made a note of it.
So administration, NICOG, is that what it is then?
What was that? 48,000? Yeah, I got a question mark on the second one.
I think what I have done was that NCRERC thingy that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
That plus the 2,251 for the NIACOG dues.
That's still only,
I think I had that plus your supervisor's ISAC dues all in that one. So we need to take that 12,000 and just make it 500. Because those are the supervisor dues.
But what about our dues and memberships that we have on our supervisor account? In 01, we have 6150 in our supervisor's one.
I'm sorry, I misspoke, not supervisor.
Every department should have their own ISAC.
Yep, you're right. It just says 2017 matching fund. And so Central Iowa Tourism is what it says.
Okay.
So basically I took the NIACOG dues and split them up this year. so that the NCRERC
It's identified.
is identified, the dues for NIACOG is identified, and the transportation's identified.
So you're confident that we can go down to 500 on that other 48,000 line item?
Yep.
Okay.
And
48,000 where?
Well, it's the
That's the number.
first, the
So
large.
12,200, go down to 500.
I wonder, why is that not in Teresa's budget? Central Iowa Tourism.
That's what I was wondering.
It sounds like something that should be in her budget to me.
It does kind of sound like it should be in her budget.
Because she attends those meetings.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've been to those.
That's where it's coming out of.
Be nice if the hotel motel tax paid for that,
It would.
since,
And that's the NCRE?
no,
Nope.
we're talking about the Central Iowa Tourism, which was where?
It's in
Dues, memberships. and
that
NIACOG.
top dues and memberships that you're talking about in 54.
That we put down to 500?
Yeah, we're gonna put that down to 500
Right.
because I've moved the other stuff.
But
So-
Central Iowa Tourism stayed in that one?
Yes,
Okay, I gotta write that in.
And that's the 500 is the
500
Central Iowa
goes to
Tourism.
Central Iowa Tourism.
Okay.
But maybe at your WWB meeting, when I
Yeah.
talk to her about putting that in her budget.
I was supposed to be at Port Authority meeting this morning, but there's no way I could make both meetings, so she was at that. We were texting earlier. Where's she answer?
So what did you say, the 2,000, the second from the bottom on page 71?
That is
That's for
just
what?
NIACOG dues.
NIACOG dues.
Yep.
And the, where is it? And the NCR, what's that for?
It's that waste cleanup thing that Terry was
Oh,
talking
that's
about.
right, yeah.
And that used to be in that top dues, but I separated it out.
It's a hazmat thing, right? As
think
far
so.
as
What I,
hazmat cleanup dues.
And I wonder why that's so high, because unless they can't
Actually,
pay,
says Terry. Oh, you got
that would get charged to an insurance company.
I would think most times that any kind of a disaster like that is gonna, unless insurance companies won't reimburse for your emergency or your.
What it is, they do a lot of training, they have supplies they do. If a company has a spill, the company has insurance that covers it. We had a spill at a bar over in Armstrong years ago, where a guy brought in a vial of mercury, or a jar with a lid, and got a little loose with his grip and dropped the jar and mercury all over the floor. They had to go all the way over to Armstrong to clean that up, and yeah, it's all over the place what they have to. And that guy was being charged with it, and the county over there ended up paying the bill because the guy somehow couldn't pay the bill, the bar owner couldn't pay the bill. It wasn't the liability of the bar owner, and that was a complicated one. So we billed the county over there for it, and I think they ended up getting at least half of it back. But they do have a cost of doing business with all their training they have to do for it, and equipment they have to buy and update. There's a lot of hazmat equipment. Just training, you use up supplies.
people are smart.
Hey, y'all, watch this, huh?
You wouldn't believe it, we found probably acid materials, you know.
Oh, yeah, no, there's stuff all over the place.
So what do you want to do with Healthy Harvest in the community, or the,
And the historical society.
yeah, that,
Zero them out.
I think we all kind of came to that conclusion. If we're gonna be cutting, we might as well do both.
Okay.
We used to rely on the tipping fees to have that cushion. We don't have that anymore. And we were talking about yesterday we talked about the recycling. Is it worth it? $40-some thousand a year to recycle. You know, so we're gonna be we'll have to negotiate with Waste Management, see what they can come up with another plan. Either they drop this price since they've already paid for all the bins. If they don't drop the price, is there another option that's much cheaper, like the bin drop at the shops? Or look into starting our own or something, you know, with just bin drops. And maybe coordinate with Worth County, where we take our bins over to Worth County and share with them. They got their one drop site. We gotta cut that out. It's just getting outrageous. And that's coming out of general basic, isn't it?
I think that comes out of rural basic, because
You
it's
say
only
would
rural
that come out of
recycling.
rural?
All
Yep,
right,
pretty sure.
no, it's not gonna help us in that other case then.
Because I know, you know, like the city of Buffalo Center does their own recycling,
Mhm.
so.
And they charge everybody, so it's Thompson.
The ones that don't are, I think they go into Rake, and I think they go into Scarville.
Right.
Yeah, Rake has got waste management. I had to dodge the truck today with the bus.
But the recycling part, seems like we're covering.
We pay for Rake
What
and
is the
Scarville, I
usage?
think.
We just got a sheet from them. It was emailed to us.
Chris deals with all that, so she would better
She
know.
forwarded it to us, so
Okay.
there was a report that came out.
Yeah.
I know Laura and I wouldn't fill up a bin in 3 months. I know that.
No, we bill 2 to 3 a month.
Oh, cripes, I could do it better than that.
But I have a long driveway, so I gotta make an attachment for the back of my truck to hold it down. It's getting to be a long walk in the winter.
I bet
I've got
me and
one.
Jason do 2 things a month, or 2, we use a big Menards
With wheels
dumpster.
on
and- No, we don't have wheels.
I get
Carry
2
mine.
wheels.
And
And
then
another
one of the-
smaller one that they originally came out with.
Yep.
And I fill them easy every month.
Yep. Probably,
Of course, if I could get my wife to stomp the air out of the milk jugs, it wouldn't take quite so much room.
And we got a lot of water bottles too.
Yeah.
Nobody crushes those before they go in there.
crush all my water bottles.
So on page 72, the second one on from the bottom, number-wise, 3,200. What's that for? 72, you got six.
Dues of membership NICOG again?
That's under rural basic.
You got milk?
What is there a benefit we get out of that? Like,
That one is.
Go ahead and have Chris just print that Excel spreadsheet of the recycling.
That benefit is very subjective.
that's the one where they have a meeting every month at Bear Lake and Bennigan's or whatever.
Not every month, it's pretty close, but yes. I'm on that board and I'm personally not a fan of it. I don't know, I'd have to check in to see, that's what the taxis operate under, NIACOG.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry, it looks to me like Chris took the Healthy Harvest out of there last year. So I'm not sure why,
Oh,
but I think that can go down to zero.
It's 4,800 here?
No, the 3,200.
Well, I mean, the number at the end of it is 4,800.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Memberships, NICOG.
Yeah, I think that can be zero. Because, that's all.
Why would that be called dues and memberships, NICOG?
I don't know why she took it out of there. Don't know. That's when you have to ask her, and she'd probably go, well, I'm not real sure why I did that.
And you said that was Healthy Harvest that it was actually?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why it was there, but.
So what'd you figure out on the other NICOG one?
It's actually where the Healthy Harvest came out of it. She took it down to zero, 32.
Okay. So we had it two places then.
what was the other one?
It was under, general basic,
Oh, yeah.
under Healthy Harvest. For nutrition
Education. Yeah, because last year we didn't have that line item in there. So last year in tonnage, we had 301.57 tons of recycling altogether. It varied from a low of 18.88 in May to a high of 31.29 in August.
I think that December would be the big month.
The thing is, Waste Management gets credits for recycling. So they're benefiting from the recycling. So I've been to their reports on it.
We get,
But it's tax credits or some
green
kind of
credits or whatever.
some kind of green credits for their fees from the landfill. And the more they recycle, the more credits they get.
Carbon credits is one of the things that that's what I was thinking. Algor had some kind of credit thing going.
I don't know if that's even, this is a state.
I just couldn't believe if there's anybody making money off the carbon credits.
Where's that line item at for recycling?
It's page 59.
59?
It's got its own.
It's its own.
Got its own.
Oh, Teresa. Say, question came up. We're wondering why the Tourism Iowa, or the Central Iowa Tourism bill is paid through our general miscellaneous, and it doesn't go to. Is it because it's more seats on the board then, or?
Carla, where was Healthy Harvest taken out of elsewhere? Can't see.
Okay.
Oh,
Under
it's on page 72.
71,
There's a 70.
on about the middle of the page.
Oh, the place that it's supposed to be taken out.
Yeah.
Says
Oh,
nutrition.
nutrition and
education.
education.
Okay.
It wasn't actually taken out of there before, we just budgeted.
Yeah.
There, I don't know why.
Yeah, I was thinking Kathy would run it for us.
Excuse me.
Right. Well, we're just trying to find where we can cut monies on certain parts of our budget. Thought maybe if the hotel motel tax could cover it, you know. Okay, I'll try and explain it to him then. All right, thanks. Bye. Okay, so we pay Central Iowa Tourism fees, and as a county government, we're allowed 2 seats on the boards. So one is the Forest City Chamber person, and the other is the Lake Mills Chamber person. Or it used to be anyway, I don't know if it still is. And then Windward Betco has a business membership. So they have a membership under business, and they get 1 representative. Over at Worth County, they do the same thing, where they have two people on the board from theirs too. That's why they're separate. going back to your budget, what would the timeline for budgeting be? Would we start the process if we decided we wanted to eliminate or offer early retirement to one of your people, or to anybody that might be one of your people, on how that would change the budget? We'd have to know pretty soon, wouldn't we?
Not necessarily, because that'll be a positive sum game on that one. So you're looking at probably 65,000 compared to at the most 18,000. So
I put it on the agenda for next week for you guys to approve it.
But we could reflect it in the budget.
Could reflect it in the budget.
yeah, it'd be nice to reflect it, but if anything, it's going to be a positive to our budget. So it won't be a negative.
Right, well, that's, I'm trying to get to a positive.
What was that?
If a certain person retires.
Oh.
Yep.
So the autopsy medical examiner, do we need to increase that to 36,000?
It'd be 33 otherwise.
Well, in the past, it's been a lot less
No,
than
but she
that.
combined two lines.
Oh.
If you look at this one, you're under 54.
Yeah.
If you look at it on this one, there's two lines that she combined into one. It added up to 33.
You just shifted it from one spot to the other.
I can make it 33.
Now, see, it was this number. And this number.
What page are you on, Terry?
He's
What
actually-
you just did there. The two numbers.
The two numbers was in last year's.
Oh.
And so she eliminated one of the lines and put it into autopsy. So it added up to 33 last year in the two lines.
These two here.
Yeah. And they fluctuate, you know.
Oh, that's your last year's budget, that's why it's not quite, what page are you on this year's, 67?
No, it'd be, it's not on that page.
Done 71 Bill,
So,
Yeah, you're on the top of yours.
top line.
I think there's a little discrepancy in the approved for 2018. It says 11,000, but it was actually 22,000. The other line was 11,000.
Okay.
So apples for apples, it would have been 33. But
Do you want me to put 33 in there?
yeah, you might as well so we understand it better.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about for 19?
Yep.
I was just talking about the 2.
Oh, okay.
Well, if it was 11, that'd be 22.
No, it was 22 and 11.
22 and 11.
Last year we approved, last year we approved 22 for autopsy and 11 for medical exam. That's how we came up with 33.
And we got it on one line now, so. So it's a little, it still has the approved as 11,000, when you combine it, it should have been approved at 33.
Right.
Yeah.
But even so, that one, I guess you are right though. If that line that you identify as 42,800 was the 11,000 line, it had a different title though.
Mhm.
All right. So yeah, but regardless, well, we eliminated the autopsy one.
So that was autopsy, and what was the other identification?
Medical examiner.
Medical exams.
So what do you want to do? You want to go 33 or 36 or?
I'll just put in 33.
33.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it looks like it's close. Well, the 22,000 was a little higher than it has been, but the 11,000 was right close to compared to actuals in the past.
Depending on what year.
Yeah. Well, the 17 actuals were,
Last year was a bad year.
That's a half year.
yeah,
I don't know what happened.
the second half. Well,
Because it doesn't show up on this one,
yeah,
the actuals for autopsy. I don't know if you can look that up.
If she deleted it,
I'm guessing we're safe with the 33, we don't have to do all that.
Okay.
So what are we down to, 489,000 that we need to cut?
Yeah.
are you gonna cut Julie's extra person?
What's that?
Are you gonna cut Julie's extra person
That she hasn't hired.
for 2 years?
We've budgeted for Julie's extra person, but she hasn't used it.
She did.
Freeze. Freeze it.
Should we call her in here and talk to her? Let's see who is next. What time do we have?
Chris, we have
11
15
o'clock
minutes.
at
Okay.
Chris, yeah.
This is Denise.
Hi Denise, is Julie available to come down and see us?
No, she's not. She had a funeral today.
Okay, all right. Thank
But
you.
if she does come in, I'll let her know that you're looking for her.
Well, we're only here till noon, so.
Okay. Any idea about the weather tomorrow?
Yeah, your guess is good as mine.
Yep, I suppose. Thank you.
It's good snow.
All right.
See you later.
Which one was that, Carla, under the
She
treasurer?
has it, half of it under motor vehicle and half of it under driver, or, tax, or driver's license, I think.
Yeah, it was gonna be split between the two.
Yeah.
So if you look at actuals,
Salaries extra help. Is it? The second line in the treasurer. It's been there was there in 18 and the request for 19 for 16,000. Is that half of it?
that's
That's probably part of it.
There's another one down at the bottom of the page, second from the bottom.
Okay, that's probably it too.
So it'd be a little over 32,000 we could cut there.
And then the bike guy for his insurance, so I'll go down too, but. those are close enough to actuals, I don't think it's worth cutting the FICA and IFRS anyway. I love you.
Okay,
Come on, Chris.
you ready for me yet?
Sure.
Sorry.
We're just going through other things.
Okay.
She is Department 7.
Wherever you want to be. Whatever it takes to keep your health.
You're wearing shoes today.
Yes.
That's so exciting.
He's got the flu, so he banished himself to the corner.
Okay.
If you're wondering.
Like the stomach flu or cold?
Body, I could hardly move a muscle yesterday morning.
My mother-in-law has it really bad too. So, not fun.
Which one?
Page 25, Department 7.
Yeah, I got it.
All right.
A little bit of an overall decrease, and
Yeah, I think a little bit because, well, maybe not a decrease, but it's pretty close to last year. And I was.
says your total for the recorder is 256 and 251 for this year.
Most of the decreases have been report, record management. How are you coming with your everything?
I've got a lot done this last year. I think there's probably, say, a fourth of it left. If that, so.
And that won't be done yet this year, then?
Well, I would like to get the rest of the mortgage books, and, I've been using that record management because that's kind of what it's for, we collect $1 for each recording fee. And it's to make records more accessible to the public. That's pretty much all you can use that account for. So there's, I think, 9,000 some left in there. So I'm going to try and, I don't know if I put that on here to budget for that amount, but.
Document management expense of 12,000.
Got 12, okay. I'll leave it at 12. Because that's just the amount that I would possibly use for the year. And since that account is kind of a standalone anyway. But yeah, I would like to try to finish that this year. And I was looking at my office equipment and maintenance. I have 2,600, and I think I could go down to 2,000 there.
Which one was that?
Office equipment and maintenance.
$2,600. What do you use that for then?
Pretty much just if we need some like new chairs or something, and I did get a couple new chairs last year, so they were 12 years old.
For a while.
Yeah. I don't think I've used any of it this year, so.
Yeah, the actuals.
Doesn't show anything for the last 3 years.
Small amount.
Is that not right? Unless it was in another category. There's equipment and furniture like that, but it shows zeros.
Office equipment and maintenance. 2016 was 819 and 17 599. So what I have.
I don't seem to have that line in here.
Yeah, it's there. It's about
44400.
Office equipment repair and maintenance?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, very good. And you've already taken that down to zero.
Okay, so we basically switched lines on that.
Yep, they moved, Chris,
It's one of
I
those
think that's the
switches.
one, it's what it's supposed to be, Chris, I think, is your service agreement for your copy machine. That's what that's supposed to be.
Oh. Okay.
That office equipment repair and maintenance, that's where you were taking your, service agreement for your copier out of.
Yep.
And that's not the right line item.
Okay.
So that one will be deleted after this
So
year.
what's it coming out of then?
It's gonna come out of office equipment service agreement. And I don't know if you don't have that in yours.
I don't think I do.
This is the new, what I actually have in the computer at this moment. Sorry.
Okay.
So we took
There's also software maintenance agreements above.
it from there and put it down here.
Okay.
The software maintenance agreements, I would think, is for your, like, do you have recorder software that you use?
Yeah.
So that's what that's for.
Yep. Leave that like that. Yeah, I think that looks good, but that 2,600, oh, that's gonna go away then. Okay.
Yep, this line item will go away, that, where the 26
So
was,
does it need to stay at 26 then?
and it'll go down
And it's
here.
down there.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we
Where's
can
that
bring it,
going- Where's that going to? The 2,600?
Copier agreement.
Okay, I'll hold my breath. Went from this one to there.
we could probably take it down to 2,000,
Okay.
I think, yep. And then my miscellaneous is at 1,000, I think we could do 500 there. And then even the salary under my extra help, that third person I have is at 34,300. We could take that down to just 34. That's what I came up with to save a little bit anyway.
So the 34, that you hire part-time help every now and then, or
No, that's what Sarah's salary's under.
her salary is under that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And Sandy and I are under the
The other one up
salary
there.
one. Yep.
And that's probably not,
But she's not part-time anymore, though, is she?
No.
Yeah, so that's what kind of throws it
Yeah.
off. I was thinking, I didn't think you had a part-timer in there anymore.
we might, I'll talk to Chris about that line item, maybe change that line item too, because that, it really shouldn't be under part-time.
No,
Yeah.
So I'll talk to her about,
There's a lot of descriptions that need to be adjusted.
I know,
yeah,
but we're working on it, but it's,
good job.
takes a lot. And then,
Matt DeBay still had telegraph services.
Well, there's a lot of them that say telegraph on it. This does too,
Yeah,
telephone
telephone and
telegraph service right here.
Mhm.
Do you use your telegraph?
So you're up on your Morse code then? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when I helped my grandma at the church, we had one of those machines that you, what was it, mimeograph?
A mimeograph.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
crank the
Yeah.
machine and
yeah.
get the copies out.
Remember those?
I guess
Barely.
the telegraph humor that has been the best lately is Clay Matthews and Aaron Rodgers in that commercial,
Yeah.
where Aaron Rodgers is in his motel room and Clay Matthews has got a, adjoining door to the room, and all of a sudden he hears it, and then Rodgers opens up the door and Clay's standing there. That's Morse code for Clay. I imagine your husband's enjoyed that one more than once.
We don't have TV, so
You don't have TV?
Nope.
Is that right? That's what we should do.
All right, did you guys have any other?
No, I think that's about it.
So how does he want to watch the Packer games?
Listens on the radio.
Really?
Just don't want it or don't want
He's
it?
more man than I.
We just don't want, we just think it's silly to pay for cable, so we just don't.
Put an antenna TV.
Yeah, we just don't. Don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
That was quick.
Yeah, no, okay, well, so it's time to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Clerk of courts, under in that area.
Yeah, she just said,
It's the same.
that she wasn't gonna ask for any more right now, and
It's $4 more.
Yeah.
Magazines and periodicals went up $4.
Yep. So, and basically, I think it's because I've told her, we're not doing any work up there until the outside of the building's done. And so I've told her not to ask for money, and she's been good about not, so it's,
I don't see the need to meet with her then.
No.
no,
She's not gonna be here anyway.
she said if we had any questions, we could call her, but I told her we'd probably be okay,
We're good there.
so.
What else we want to look at now?
Well, we haven't found that silver bullet yet.
How about at the 00 category?
Okay.
Non-departmental.
Start at the top, we're gonna take that general basic transfer for secondary roads out. And then, Mike, you weren't here yesterday, but we talked about to the nurses, we're gonna take that transfer out, the whole thing, because we've moved their FICA and IPERS and health insurance from their fund to general supplemental, which makes about $350,000 worth of cushion in their budget.
And so the first line, 48,882, will be taken out.
Yep.
And the nurses line, 245, gets taken out.
Yep.
Okay. We may, depending on what we do at the Winworth Petco meeting, it may be a little higher than that 52.
Mm-hmm.
So what's all FICA, what else?
FICA, IPERS, and health insurance.
Okay.
The secondary road fund, that's
And that was put into which
the general supplemental
generals?
instead of, so it'll be in Fund 2 instead of Fund 43.
So Scott been notified about the,
We told him in the meeting yesterday. Or,
I think he should also be told that, because I really do think he does, but they do a good job of trying to hold it down. That this is a 1 year, it's year to year. I mean, it could be discouraging to just yank that 48,000 out from under their budget, and it really gives them no incentive to keep. So,
should we bring him up here to go over it quick or not?
I think he knows, and I told him 2 months ago that he wasn't gonna get it. So, he knew, he put it in so that
Yeah.
you have to take it away.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott, but that's the truth. I know it listens.
And that's all of general basic though.
Yep. So then if we go down to road basic, that secondary road fund, that's their tire transfer, that's the maximum they can get for.
Before we go there,
Yeah.
this is a subject that has been brought up before, met with a lot of resistance, but I think we need to revisit the Winworth Petco contribution. to, I know it's one of those things that's hard to quantify, but that's just for general contemplation later on. I'm not advocating it for this year, but.
I think that's probably a discussion for the board meeting.
Yeah, but we need to think
Talk
about
about dissolving it, or?
Yeah.
I guess what is the overall benefit we're getting from it?
Right.
Well, one, we're getting the hotel motel tax dollars from out at the casino.
Yeah, we get a portion of that because of it. But,
If we disband it, then there'd have to be another vote over there to decide how that would be situated, because it's named by Wentworth Betco. If we dissolve the 28E, it kind of throws a wrench into that.
Well, it's, in my opinion, definitely something to look into.
Well, the next meeting we have on the discussion where we're going from here.
Yeah.
So it is part of.
But I think it should be talked amongst us three, separate from them, because we have to look at it how it affects our county. We can't be worried about Worth County.
And Worth County has gotten most of the development. Some of it's because of the railroad that's located there, but,
In the interstate.
in the interstate, yes. So therefore, what may, and that stuff may have come anyway without any economic development.
And that's, to me, that's what we need to look at. All right.
The county fair, they asked for 35 this year instead of 36, so I'll change that.
And here again, that's a real touchy subject. But how long do we keep on subsidizing? I'm just hoping that, I'd hate to see it go too, but.
Do you want me to send out an auditor survey just to see how much other counties give their fairs?
That'd be great.
That would be interesting to see. Some of the bigger fairs would probably support themselves, of course, but,
And if we do start cutting back, we're gonna have to probably not do it all first year.
No,
Because they're counting on it.
well,
Start with.
yeah, there won't be a county fair, would be my guess.
They do get state dollars too.
Well, we're probably going beyond our scope here, but I just think it's something that needs to be talked about. I'm not saying that anything's gonna happen out of it, but,
I think their foundation has done a great job raising monies, but it's mostly for capital improvements. They don't use those monies for operation.
when it comes to our job, I think we have to look at it from a cost benefit ratio, and in something like this, it's extremely difficult to do, but
Like the comment that was made a while back, you can't put a price on the services, but unfortunately we have to.
right.
Yes. It's the reality of it.
Local option sales tax. I kept it the same. Do you want me to leave it the same? Do you want me to, 16 it was 355, 2017 it was 315. So that's kind of average. You want me to leave it there or you want me to move it?
I was gonna look back and see historically before that.
I hope that's not a starting trend.
Yeah, me
So
too.
I'll look back one more year and see what I find. Possible it is. 2015, it was $399.
Well, you're getting more stuff bought online.
Well, there's a store in Lake Mills that went out of business.
Yep.
That you could safely assume it'd be $30,000 in sales tax receipt, but, not 30, it'd be 1% of that.
Should I move it down to 300?
Probably gonna have to.
Yes,
What fund is that then?
It's Fund 30, there should be. I was gonna see what the revenues so far this year were, I'm not spending it. The percentage is.
There's so many people that have the Walmart mentality anymore. Some things are cheaper and some things aren't.
And 2 grocery stores that have changed hands this year, and another one that's closing their grocery store. Well, is it this year that Buffalo Center changed hands?
Yeah.
Like
We got
Mel's is
lucky.
changing hands.
We got lucky that there was someone local that was willing to.
Well, and I think the guy in Lake Mel's, I have encouragement for him. I mean, he's got running another one and owning this one, so maybe he can make it operate more efficiently, get better deals.
The next thing now is that RBEG operating fund.
See, now that is the revolving loan funds that we give out.
Mm-hmm.
So we loaned to the brewery, we loaned to the grocery store, we loaned, so that has to stay at that.
Yep, we just leave that at 200,000, and we put expenditures at 200,000.
Yeah.
Breaks each other
That's
out.
an in and out thing.
Yep.
There's no tax cost there.
The employee health and wellness program, we tried to, I can't get anybody to do that anyway, so we might as well take it down to 0 from 1,000. We end up with 3 people doing every challenge and nobody else cares, so.
There was another back in, was it 50, at the end of 54, under employee benefits. There was where was it?
Yeah, there was 2,000 there too, and I'll just take that down to 0.
Okay.
Page?
Page
73, employee health and wellness program, 2,000.
Take that down to 0.
Yep.
And,
On page 3, we're taking that 1,000 down to 0.
there's 2 1,000s there, which one?
There, one's the total and one's the,
Oh, all right.
then I have the loan stuff in. I'll have to do a budget amendment. Looks like I forgot to put the interest in for 2018. I don't know how I accomplished that, but whatever.
Now, have we accounted for the loan payments for the USDA?
Under the 2000 department, the USDA and the courthouse project is under that.
Where is that?
On the bottom of page 5.
it said Public Safety Center, USDA, and courthouse.
Yeah, yep, it's all those three.
Courthouse is, I got courthouse and USDA one. What's the other one?
You said it, courthouse, USDA, and
That's the 268,000 one?
and the public safety center, they're all in there.
Oh, it's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
it's USDA, Public Safety Center, and courthouse?
The
Yep.
courthouse one we just got.
That's all in that 2,000 number.
And we're sure that's the number then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll look at it again, but I had Chris and I both looked at it.
That's principal, right?
Yep, and the next page, interest in the fees.
Is your accounting program able to, can you just pull up everything we pay to NIACOG? Is that possible?
Do a search of NIACOG payments.
Because here we have under, I'm a little ahead of the ballgame here, but it's under supervisors, we have another dues membership in NIACOG.
That's your ISAC dues.
Why isn't it said Isaac?
Well, that's a good question.
Okay, that's fine. But is that possible on your program?
I think
For anything on this?
yeah, yeah.
You know, okay.
The only, I shouldn't say it because I don't know off the top of my head.
Like if we wanted salaries for a sheriff, can you pull up the total what the sheriff's department salaries are?
Yep.
Only? Okay.
Yep. You should be able to tell me pretty much anything you want, and
Okay.
is it NIACOG?
Yeah.
So in 2017, Mike, the only thing paid, what was paid to NIACOG was $16,842.30 and $2,220.75.
$16,000 what, you said?
$16,842.30.
And that was for 16,
17.
17?
7/5/2017.
What was the other number?
Fiscal year 18.
Yeah, what was the other?
$2,220.75.
And what was that for?
NIPOG. The one was dues and the other one's the transit system stuff.
Big one was transit.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think we pretty much covered all the requests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Transfers. We covered.
Yeah, that should be all the transfers.
Covered all the miscellaneous.
Mm-hmm.
A few variables that might happen in the couple of departments with early retirement or cuts in extra positions. That pretty much covers everything we were going to discuss, right?
For tomorrow?
That we would have discussed tomorrow, yeah. Other than it'd be levy discussion, then you got to figure out how this computes out and see where the levy would go.
Mm-hmm.
Do these numbers automatically plug into the state report, or do you gotta read?
No, I have to do that. The other thing that I think we need to look at is real basic, like when on this sheet that I made for you, when I did that, I assumed the levy at the maximum. And I know that for probably, I don't know how many years, probably 10 years, that the levy over the maximum. So I can do a levy sheet for you for tomorrow with the maximum levy, what we've had in the past for the levy, and what we need to make this actually have a balance. So I can give you some choices.
This is for when? Oh, we're meeting Friday. Or no, what are we doing?
Well,
Depends on how bad the weather is.
depends on how bad the weather is.
Okay.
I'm not gonna, Friday, I
Yeah,
have
you're
that
gone.
meeting at Charles City.
So we're gonna try and meet tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, we have the drainage stuff here at 11.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. put in everything that we've changed and redo these sheets for you too, so that you have a better idea. But I still think that there's got to be a way to cut some more stuff or move it someplace where.
I don't think it's gonna be a shock to people that their levy's going up.
Well, you know, a large percentage of it is that 70% of the people voted for some of the increase.
Exactly. So I mean,
Didn't know that they were surprised with the same things we were, but.
right.
And we've got some valuation increase.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to plug in the numbers and see what it looks like.
A lot of voters are non-taxpayers too.
Right.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, they said that this place, thing would work until people figure out how to vote themselves someone else's money.
That's right.
One of the things that we've never implemented is, for emergency services like the paramedics, there is something out there, we can pass a resolution and we would take a certain amount off, a fee off of everybody's income taxes. And that way, if you don't own property, you're paying also. Well, right now, it's the property owners that are paying the bill, other than the local option sales tax. So that's an option we've never exercised.
Okay.
But it's still a burden on the taxpayer.
And, I mean, it doesn't help now, but in the future, if they do build that wind turbine project up by Buffalo Center there, that'll help.
Well, even the ITC lines are.
The ITC line is gonna be, because they're gonna be running a lot more energy across there.
But just the value of those poles,
Yeah.
each pole is a value that ITC pays.
Are you gonna let Scott increase what he spends out of rural basic?
It's on page what?
32. He's went from 375 to 400,000 to 425 in 3 years.
What page did you say?
32.
And this is outside of his funds he gets through the state.
This is outside of everything. This is just extra money that he gets to spend out of rural basic.
Okay.
So yeah, I was gonna do some more aggregate sand, crush, and equipment.
I say we leave that alone. We're taking the 48,000 out of general basic from him, so.
The other thing though, Mike, is that when we've given him the general basic levy, we've taken it off of what he gets for rural basic. So he's not getting any more or less than what he normally does. The year that we gave him the 88,000 out of the general basic, we took that out of what we gave him for the rural basic transfer.
Okay.
Was that him or the previous person?
It was him.
Okay.
Because it was 16.
16 was 88,000 out of the general. He gave him,
Mm-hmm.
and so 40. So it really, if you go back to 16, he's at a 0% increase, because he got 88, and he got 375 in 16 on a rural basic. So that 355, he's actually gone down.
But his rural basic transfer,
Well, he hasn't gone down from 17 and 18, but I guess it doesn't really matter to me, but it's like I say, you don't want to disincentivize the guy.
His real basic transfer's gone up 60,000 from last year to this year.
Where do you see that?
Page 20.
Page 20, sheriff.
Oh, no, revenue. Sorry.
Well, I'm neither here nor there on that, so I'm not shoving it on you two guys, but
Well, I think we can probably, the actions we've taken so far, look at it, then decide, do we need to cut more?
this might sound strange coming from me, but I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater on this budget just because one line item in the county has screwed us. So,
You talking Public Safety Center?
Yeah.
Actually, there's two. Courthouse.
Well, that too.
That's ate up more than the. It's just too bad we didn't foresee how deep it was gonna get and then bond for it. Courthouse repairs. But hindsight is always stupid.
Sounds like fantastic.
Yeah. Crystal ball has been foggy.
It's unfortunate where we're at, but I think the three of us have to get it out to the constituents that why it is this way.
Now,
You know,
I've been telling a lot of people, and it's you take the surprise at the Public Safety Center and the courthouse out of it and work 1.6 million back to the good. And, and both of those balls have been cans or whatever you want to call it, been kicked for years and years and years till it couldn't be kicked anymore. And because of what we're, looking at budgets right now, I mean, and you can understand why they wanted to kick the can. I mean, I'm not criticizing past supervisors of it completely. It's, I mean, I know why they did it.
Equipment purchases is pretty high in the county, also. You think there's some possibility that can run a little longer, considering the maintainers only use 700 hours a year?
that's our constant discussion, that's a discussion every year.
I know it is.
Yep.
And your life expectancy is usually around that 16,000 hours according to the chart.
Good functioning equipment makes your people a lot more productive. And some of the purchases that they made with some of the bigger backhoes and stuff like that allow us to do bridge replacements ourselves that save us, hundreds of thousands over hiring private contractors.
It saves us approximately 50,000 a bridge,
Is that what it is,
Yep.
50,000 bridge?
and that's huge. It's been huge for us because
Yeah, gee whiz, we're doing 7 and 8 of them are, well,
Three.
No, we did, was it 6 this year?
6.
6 this year, but I think we did 7 last year.
And we're planning on doing 5 this year.
3 the county's doing and 2
Yeah,
2 extras. So there's 3 the county's doing.
3.
Yeah, 3 the county's doing.
This next year?
Yeah.
I thought the county was doing 5, and then there were
Well,
2
total
extra.
5. The 5, but they're doing only 3 of them.
2 of them are bidding out.
Right.
I misunderstood it. I thought they were doing 5 on their own, and then there were 2 that were bid out beyond that.
So it's only 3. County also used to fix county mains once in a great while too, most that's getting subbed out too.
But that doesn't matter because that's charged to the drainage district.
But I mean, still, it would come, that would be more revenue.
Right, oh, yes, yep.
Towards the equipment purchase, is my
Yep.
point. So if they were out there doing county mains and fixing them.
But in order to do that, the way it's been explained to me is then they would have to hire more people, which would then.
Well, no, we just wouldn't be able to do our culverts, so I'm assuming if we get caught, when we get caught up with our culverts, hopefully we'll go back to that.
Yeah, when we.
There also is one extra maintainer, a backup one, correct?
Two.
At least one.
At least one, if not two.
I think they always want to have one.
At least
but
one
there's
always.
probably an extra besides now.
One of the extra ones might be getting sold next spring.
Probably 2 extra trucks right now.
But if there was no money in the budget to buy a new maintainer, they could keep that one. Some of these new emissions too are getting.
Well, here's the rubber, that's why I was talking.
I know.
The money is in their budget for this purchase, so.
But is it a necessary purchase for this year?
I'm with you.
And this new equipment with the new emissions, it's failing completely.
Oh, that's why I have a 1992 Peterbilt, because I like the motor that's in it. That motor, when my motor was built compared to one that was built today, there's an 85% more likely that the new engine built today will have a major failure in the first year.
Yes, and the older equipment is actually built better. There's a lot more design failure in a lot of this newer equipment.
Yeah.
Even the road graders, and I don't care if it says Cat or whatever, they got more design failure. That's what keeps doors open is repairs and.
Well, yeah, you have the engineer designs it really good, then the cost engineer gets a hold of it and cuts all the corners they can.
But everything's always kind of designed in construction, $15,000-$16,000. I know they've always had a real good budget for updating equipment. But what times, can you push that one more year? So if they use it for 700 hours a year, what does that figure out per week? My battery's getting dead.
It'd be 10, 12. 12 would be 60, 13, 65, 14. 14.
Yeah, so they're getting used a day and a half.
And that's 52 weeks, so.
Yeah. So.
They've done a lot of catching up in the last couple of years. I've said many times, just because it's in your budget doesn't mean you have to spend it right now.
Correct.
Dave's got the cars in his budget, he's not gonna do that.
He took them out.
And, I mean, it's,
For this year.
but secondary roads does get money from fuel tax and stuff like that too, that is theirs.
Like you said, just because it's in the budget doesn't mean it needs to be spent. And I think a lot of that gets spent because they're worried if we don't spend it, we won't get it again.
Well, that would be a problem here because I've grown up in a machinery world all my life.
Right.
And I know how poor piece of equipment, how inefficient it can make you.
Right.
You just get unlucky and have a few breakdowns in a row at the time you really need it, and it's.
And I do.
And secondary roads is different too from like my office. My office, if I don't spend my budget, it just goes back to the general basic, which is fine. But Scott's budget, when he doesn't spend his, he has a fund where it's a carryover. So he has that money every year, whether he's spent it or not. So with him, I don't think that they spend just to spend so they keep getting it, because they have a carryover budget. They don't lose it. They keep their money in their fund.
It's a philosophy, and I don't necessarily, I'm not against it, not for it. I am at issue with them on some other things, but basically how we do some things, but.
I've looked at other counties on their equipment and as far as townships, we have less roads to maintain than other counties who have a lot less equipment.
In all those counties, I've talked to citizens from every one of them, including supervisors, that when they get to Winnebago County, yeah, so, I mean, we have to get back to where nobody will be bragging about our roads.
They're not complaining about our taxes.
Well, no, there's a trade-off. I mean, you wanna, we can cut that budget, we can cut employees, equipment, all that stuff. It's just that the maintainer may not get by your place till 2-3 days after the blizzard, depending on how bad it is.
You know, and most farmers can hire somebody to get them out. And on the gravel roads, you know, that's kind of the way.
Well, and I guess if they're happy with that, then we can maybe start that.
And if you still have the backup maintainers, that shouldn't make a difference. You still have the wheels to turn and the operators to run them. It's just that you don't have the shiny paint.
There's, like I said, that we go to no backups, I guess, we got them all too, because they shouldn't break down.
But you're looking at a lot of money then. And even if one did have a failure and you have it redone, even when you go to sell it, that failure, that the service work that was done to it still brings the value. You're not going to be out completely.
Not out completely,
but you'll recoup probably 40% of it.
Usually the price of a Blue Book price of something includes the thing that's being run. It doesn't say if it's got a new engine in it, that means it's runs. I mean, you could try and talk the person into paying more because there's a new engine in it, but that doesn't necessarily, because they're still going to think this machine being working, it's working here with a new engine, working here with an engine you don't know how long it's going to last. And sometimes that doesn't increase it as much as what one would think.
But then when stuff gets so old too, it just kind of holds it kind of levels out.
Yeah. It does to an extent. It's just it usually levels out at a pretty low.
I do know everything's been capped. It would be nice if they would take bids, even though they don't maybe take John Deere's bid or whoever else's bid, maybe to make sure CAT stays in line.
They price them.
I know they do. They compare with what other bids have been.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Like the last CAT skid loader with the tracks on it.
Yep.
The reason they wanted that, and I've heard this from other people that are in the construction business, CAT has the best undercarriage on the market, the most durable, so therefore it should last longer. It's yet to be proven, but in theory, that's the theory.
I think they also had some, because of some of the attachments they were going to put on it, I think this one had better hydraulic stuff to it also.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't show a lot of equipment purchase this year. They were just $75,000 for the equipment purchase, weren't they?
I thought there was 300,000 in that rural basic budget.
I thought there was one new maintainer.
That was out of last year's budget.
Yeah.
Last year's.
Yeah, this one I think was just down to $75,000.
For this 2019 budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, I was missing, you said.
Yeah, because they were going to crush some gravel and.
That was their biggest.
That was their biggest expense was the gravel.
Oh,
yeah.
So they're holding themselves.
They're trying.
You know, I mean, there's nobody down there. They're all pretty responsible, frugal people. So I mean, it's.
They've heard the writing on the wall right
now. And they understand budgets. So
and their revenues over a period of, since 3 years ago, with the increased gas rations, they've got more revenue that way.
Yeah. So therefore, the county didn't pay for all of it.
Mike also brought up contracting fuel. You know, is there anybody that would contract that far out in advance?
Oh, sure. They all will.
Well, I do for my farm, and it's just the amount of gallons you use.
I just don't know what you.
It's just that it can be a
buy from
double-edged
so many
sword.
different sources, though, correct?
It can be a double-edged sword, though. I mean, you
Yes.
can get caught both ways, and that's why.
You're gonna get caught both ways.
Yeah, and that's, I think.
You're gonna get caught both ways, whether you buy it at the pump or whether you know.
And
But there is one caveat to that, in talking with Ron Langfeld. He's an advocate. If you contract in February, and go look at it, look it up on.
Valentine's Day.
If you contract in February, 9 out of the last 11 years, you've made 7 cents on a gallon.
February, Valentine's Day, always contract your diesel fuel.
a lot of the volatility in that market, I think, is on purpose.
But that's not, to me, that's not the purpose of contracting. It's, we just want to know.
You want to know what's going to be in the budget. This is the number it's going to be. Which the gallons used can fluctuate, but, because we've saved a lot of money in fuel because they haven't had to go out to plows that much so far. I've saved a lot of gallons, I should say.
Well, we'll see what tomorrow brings in.
So Bill, you'll call me and let me know, and then I'll let Mike and Terry know.
About what? What time?
Yeah, what time?
How much over budget?
School's canceled, we can do it as early as you
How
want.
much numbers of fire?
That's what's technically not posted, so it's
But 550, that is just a jail.
we're just in discussion of the budgets.
And then,
It's huge.
the rest of it is the courthouse.
But I have you
That went
on the
from
board for
400,000 to
WHW, so if anybody.
Oh, yeah, so that starts at 9, so
We should have gave this to the historical society.
we can shoot.
Actually, it's on the board for the.
That's what I said.
At 8:30.
Why did we do that?
Either way, I can be here by 9,
Yeah.
even if they have school, unless it's 2 hours late, and that's what will make the difference.
Okay.
You make the call.
Yep, you make the call and we'll.
Well, if they go with a 2 hour late,
Well,
I probably just get Pat to drive.
I don't know if there's
Get this done.
somebody that can give us a
Yeah, if you can do that. then-
assessment of it, but
If the weather
you start
was-
looking at the heating in this building, everything.
I'll try to get all these changes in, which is.
There's too many people
A
wanting
lot,
to.
but, and then I'll work on
That's,
some levy stuff and go under that last year and the year before.
I even brought that up to Lake Mills, and they all shot me down.
It's too late now.
Huh?
It's too late now.
Oh, yeah.
What's that for?
I brought up, even before we started construction or repairs on the courthouse, I said, we ought to give the thing away and build a new one. We could build a new one. We don't have to have anything fancy. Not one person I talked to, they shot me down so fast, so.
There's a lot of people want to preserve this old building.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's one guy that I talked to that if the fountain's not running, I get my rear end chewed. If there's something wrong in the courthouse, I get my rear end chewed. I mean, you wouldn't believe.
Big farmer?
Yep.
Got a voice for radio?
I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, and